Well, howdy, folks. I'm the Western Wonder, and today we'll be taking a look at one of the most popular, innovative sitcoms of the 1960s. If you haven't guessed by the name of the show, by the video's title, you'll be hearing consistently throughout this video. That's right, we're reviewing Gilligan's Island. This show was created and produced by Sherwood Schwartz. Schwartz is known for creating The Brady Bunch and an obscure show titled It's About Time. He also was a prominent writer in The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet. The show premiered on September 26, 1964 on CBS, eventually churning out 3 seasons and 98 episodes, 99 if you include the rare pilot. Despite getting modest reviews and ratings at the time of its run in the mid-60s, the series would become a cult phenomenon through syndicated reruns in the 1970s, and spawned 2 remakes, both animated due to on-demand over live-action productions, as well as 3 television movies, with one featuring the legendary basketball troupe, the Harlem Globetrotters. With that being said, let's get to the main plot and its characters. While the show mainly revolves around 2 former army buddies turned sailors during a 3-hour tour of the ocean in Hawaii with 5 other soon-to-be castaways. While everyone was aboard the Minnow, the weather was rough and the tiny ship was tossed, but if it weren't for the courage of the fearless crew, the Minnow would be lost. I know you've heard these words before, but I had to say it. On to the characters. Gilligan, played by Bob Denver, is the clumsy and dim-witted yet brave and generous first mate to the skipper, played by Alan Hill, the more smart, straightforward one out of the 2. Despite the 2 having a close, fond friendship over the years, Gilligan never fails to frustrate the skipper with his bumbling antics. Then you have the other castaways. The millionaire, Thurston Howell, played by Jim Backus, aka the 60s Mr. Magoo, and his wife Lovey, played by Natalie Schafer. While Mr. Howell is arrogant and untrusting, Mrs. Howell is very kind-hearted and even helps the other castaways with chores and other varied responsibilities. Then there's the movie star, Ginger, played by Tina Louise. Due to her movie star antics, she has a seductive, charismatic persona, which leads to many hilarious gags of her attempts at breaking Gilligan during situations where she's been left out or hasn't caught up with. And finally, the rest. And those are all. What? What's that, Mr. Stallion? There's 2 more main characters. But the theme song said, oh, right, okay. Well, even though the first season had the lyrics and the rest for the final 2 characters, Gilligan's actor Bob Denver forced the producers to have it changed by season 2, therefore making the final 2 characters in this list the Professor, played by Russell Johnson, and Marianne, played by Don Wells. The Professor, unsurprisingly given his academics, is the most level-headed castaway on this island, inventing new objects out of coconuts or bamboo, and usually test them out with the other castaways. Meanwhile, Marianne is more laid back and down to earth compared to Ginger, and to an extent has the personality of a female Gilligan, albeit more smart and mature. And those are the characters. Now let's take a look at what you might expect on the typical episode plot from Gilligan's Island. The main episode plots of Gilligan's Island typically revolves around A. How the castaways function with life on the island, building things out of the aforementioned bamboo and coconuts, and finding food sources in the island. B. Other events or gags catching their attention, fueling their attempts of getting out of the island, usually in the form of radio announcements or surreal appearances by visitors that have happened to have just landed on the island. C. Dream sequences that relate to the storyline of each episode. And D. The castaways becoming so close to leaving but backfiring due to Gilligan's mistakes, angering the skipper, which leads to a hilarious gag of him hitting Gilligan with his cap and even chasing him if Gilligan dodges the cap hit. Some of these episodes relied on comedy. Some relied on mystery and drama, but most importantly, it relied on charm. Now, it's time for the ratings board. Now, I've set up a special way to rate the shows and films that I watch over time, and ultimately I have ratings set up in 3 ranks. Yeehaw-tastic means that it's good, half a cow means that it's okay, and horrible means that, well, it's horrible. Oof, what a pun. These ratings may change later just to make them a little bit more catchy. Now remember, this is my opinion on whether media that I review, and I definitely encourage people to watch them regardless. For Gilligan's Island, this show has my first ever Yeehaw-tastic. The legacy of Gilligan has stood the test of time. timeless characters, humor, charm, and simplistic scenery. The chemistry between all the characters, particularly the friendship of the Gilligan and the skipper, and the compatible compassion and teamwork of the castaways proved to be such an amazing and exciting show. Oh yeah, and one final thing. I forgot to mention that there's been this decades long debate concerning the two female centric characters, Ginger or Marianne. Sorry, Mrs. Howell. To be honest, and I know I'm going on the cop out route here, but I like both of the girls for who they really are. No competition needed. Huh? Oh, okay. And Mr. Stallion would like to put some input here. Oh, okay, Mr. Stallion, what do you think? Uh, well, sorry, Mr. Stallion, but we ran out of time. I'm the Western Wonder, and I'll be back reviewing a 50 show. And I kind of wanted that. Until then, stay tuned for more and keep on wrangling. If you like this video and would like to see more of my upcoming vids, please click the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications. Western Wonder, out!